Yeah, it was fun. It's very hard. It is, yeah. Probably. And he goes, I just played it out. He said, I thought the other way of it too. Then 350. Yeah. He said, oh, good. So she planning on pickleball. It makes sense. I'm sure Josh was gonna have prom last. Cause it's not that far. I think people always thought it was so far, but it's really not. And if you want, nice, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Somebody, is listed on Mincy, and it's just land.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
And, oh my goodness, maybe.
What they trying to sell that for? I was like,
No, I'm saying, I thought it might have been your own number.
no.
And I'm like, oh, no, you can't sell that there.
No, but I will keep you posted. We talked about it and then they were like, oh, well, the other people got to, I didn't get hired, so they want this.
Nobody wants to buy.
So, but like I said, I'm sure that it's.
It's real, it wasn't, I think it was going into where she was.
Speaking of spring market, time to talk. Spring market. Yay. I wanted to ask you guys, have you guys felt the spring market already?
Yes, a little bit.
So I just had a listing in Yananda. So it's a big thing, it's a fixer upper. Needs a new roof, deck needs to be torn out, it really needs to be gutted from the insides. Like gutted, it smells like dog pee, whatever, okay? So I was running comps and I was looking at comps from like. There's not a lot of fixer uppers like that in Gananda. Gananda is like a newer neighborhood, so it's hard to find fixer uppers like that. So when I looked, I was finding comps from like 155 to 180. And then one I saw at 205, but I have a race ranch and that was a split level. And I know some people would prefer a split over race ranch. So I was telling them, I think we're gonna get around 180. I was very wrong. So we had 40 showings.
Oh my God.
And which were horrible. And I actually want to talk about that in the showing etiquette class as well. Every single day my clients came home, either a door was open, unlocked, hurricane hammers were thrown over the room. Someone went through their stuff and medications. So the reason why I want to say that, because I want to go off on a little thing, spring market brings more buyers, more competition, all that sort of thing. If you have listings, make sure they are where they're going to be a lot of people in home. Lock away your medications, and if it's a vacant house, have either a family member or yourself check it at the end of every single night. Because it was absolutely horrible. There was a key left in the door, because we had overlapping showings only 2 at a time to relieve them, which I don't typically like doing. It was horrendous, and they were so overwhelmed and so stressed. So we ended up getting 10 offers. 4 people I said, don't even try. We originally had 2 offers, one at 205, offering payable 6% commissions, so the seller doesn't have to. Then we had, and they were cash guaranteed. Then we had a conventional offer, escalating up to 230. Okay. So both these agents were really, really transparent with me, calling me consistently. So I gave them the opportunity to increase their offer. So I said, you're at 1 and 2, just let me know. So the one increased their offer, that's how we got to 205. So now, I did not want to take a financing offer. I did not, I'm like, this is not, there's so, soffits are hanging out, there's stuff with the fascia, old roof, deck. I did not want to take a financing offer. So I'm like, this thing's not raised. I'm thinking we're gonna sell it at 180 and we're in the 200s now. So in that also is a problem getting to the spring market when things sell so much higher. So I talked to them, they said, no, we're not taking the financing, we'll take the 205 cash, we'll be good, I don't care. The extra $1,000 escalation clause. Call the first guy back, so I was called the winner back. So I don't want to call everyone and say, hey, you did get the house. And then call the guy that got it and was like, no, we don't want it anymore. So I always called the first person. So I called the second guy, said, look, I'm sorry. We went with the other offer. He goes, oh, I thought you were gonna counter me. I said, counter you, this is highest and best. He's like, I'm not taking that for an answer. I said, oh, okay, so, and he told me
He
that,
was the higher offer, but it was financed?
yeah,
Okay.
so I told him why. He goes, no, I still don't see a reason with that, this is what we gotta do. He called Susan. He said, look, I'm not trying to step around you, you're amazing, but I'm letting her know we're getting this house. So I was like, wow, so Susan called me, she's like, whoa, what's going on? So I told her the situation, she goes, all right, let's run through numbers to see what is he willing to do to make this jump ship. So I said, okay, this is what he needs to do. We're at 205, he needs to get his max escalation 230, he needs to cover any appraisal gap, semi-approval funds. He needs to, also have, if any repairs come up on the appraisal, he needs to fix it at the buyer's expense. He needs to let the sellers leave anything in the house at the time of closing. He needs to let them leave it in, any condition, doesn't have to be in room left. And
Really, put it out there.
yeah, so I'm like, look, if you're making us jump ship for a financing offer, you need to make it worth it. So I called him back and said, all right, this is where we're at. He's like, deal. So I had a 205 offer that we accepted. Second place said, no, tell me what you mean. I said, okay, laid it all out there. He said, "Oh,
And did you ask your sellers
Yes.
before you did all that?
oh yeah, I had a conversation with them in the meantime because I was like, because they saw financing, they knew, very transparent with them, and they're like, we need to get this closed because we just got an offer accepted the night before with the sale and transfer of title contingency. So we needed this to get closed, right? So I said, I was saying, okay, so we need to close in 3 weeks, how can we do that? And he said, because we already have mortgage commitment and, we're just waiting on appraisal. The buyer already did everything. So, I had to call the first guy back and I said, hey. So sorry, I told him what the terms were, I'm like, look, I appreciate you and your communication, this is where we're at. Can you match it? They're like, we can't go anywhere near that. I said, his fault that he did, and I've done this once before and I got burned, I never know, do it again. I never tell a buyer they didn't offer accept until I have the signed offer made. I never do, I've done it one time only, and that's the time they called me back and said we're flip flopping. So I had that hard conversation with my buyers.
Wait a minute, can you say that again?
So he called his buyers when I said, you got the house, 2 seconds after I called him, before I even signed anything, told them they got the house.
And he should have waited
Till I got the
until
offer.
you got the
Yes.
signed forms back.
Yes. I always wait. I've only not waited once and it burned me. So I was like, we need to wait. So he did that and he was like, look, I don't blame you. You're doing what's best for your sellers. Like they just got an extra $25,000.
With the second offer that-
Yeah.
that you did take, it was financing, it was that cash guarantee?
No, it was conventional. That's why I didn't want to take it. And he did not take no for an answer. And he was like, look, I'm sorry for going Tuesday. I just need to let her know that you guys are holding on everything and not moving forward with this other person.
He sounds like a little control freak.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You think about it, he didn't give up. We ended up accepting his offer.
Right.
And also, they were one of the only 2 agents that I had such great communication with this entire time. So I was very transparent with them on the listing side, let them know where we're at, how many offers, I was updating them, we were going back and forth. So if having that communication on our buyer's end too, with the listing agent, does a lot. I got an offer accepted because I think there were 16 offers and I was in number 3. And I put in there, if there's anything I can do to better my offer, please let me know. And she called me back and she was like, you were the only person that talked to the almost this entire time. Only person that said that, because I'm giving you the opportunity, can you beat, I think it was like 330 or something. I was like, yeah, well, we can. So we got it at 335. She gave me the opportunity, no one else. She's like, I'm just calling you, you're the only person.
How transparent are you with the agent?
I stray, I'm not like, okay, we have 205, da, 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 da. I don't do that, I give them, like, I say, right now, we're north of 2. Can you give me your highest and best, knowing that we're north of 2? So I use north, south, that's how I can say, I will be like, hey, you're at 205. Now, with the second offer, when I told him, look, we didn't get it, this is why, I told him all the terms.
Yeah.
Like, this is why we had to accept this, because he was pushing me, and never had an agent push me like this. I'm like, look, you can tell your clients this is what we had, but that's, to me, cash versus financing, that's where we wanna be. And that's what it boils down to. He's like, well, I can be better with cash. I said, show me now, tell me. And he's like, well, I could go up, and I was like, okay. I will tell you, oh, you could be good, better than cash, and that's all I told them, I said, for $25,000, they're willing to take a risk with finances, you gotta cover all bases. But I'm never too crazy transparent, just because. Like, for example, if you would write on my listing, you're like, I'm like, okay, we need to be just north of 300, I'll give you that. I wouldn't say that if I had an offer at 330. But if I'm at like 315, 305, I'd probably say that. So that's what I do. But that is crazy, I certainly did not anticipate the traffic like that, and that was my first, like, okay, we are in spring market. And again, another reason for that too is when you have listings coming up, we're not doing the 90-day comps, like what has sold in the past 90 days. We're opening it up to last spring. And I actually delete the comps that have sold December, November, January, February, because those are the comps that don't sell as high. Right? Because no one wants to buy a house right before Christmas or holidays or things like that. So I will look back summer, back spring, and I'll send them those. And I'll tell them why. Because if you have a listing and you're running comps for the past 90 days, they're like, okay, we'll sell for 250. Okay, then all of a sudden they get 350, which is great, but as buyer,
Oh, that's so good to know.
you want to make sure that you are prepping them in the right market, because it is way different now. Does that make sense?
I'm
So I
glad to
expected
hear
it.
this, because I
Yeah.
couldn't find, I've got a prospective listing, and I couldn't find comps that were equal to what they bought the house for.
Mm-hmm, yeah, because you're probably looking in December, the past 90 days, like you
Yes, yes.
typically do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
good to know.
that's what I always do, especially with this listing, I told them they're gonna sell for 180. So I thought for sure, now we have 230, and of course, it's over the moon, which is great, but as a buyer, because I have my own personal buyer for that as well, which I don't like doing at all. Gave them to Courtney, she's like, yeah, I mean, the comp show 180, nothing more than, I mean, the house needs to be stripped, it's stunk. Every time you walk in the door, it's like a waft of like
How much land
No.
goes?
0.29 of an acre, quarter of an acre, it's been out of them,
Isn't Ananda's
taxes.
taxes way high?
Here's the other thing too, I graduated from Ganana, so I know Ganana, their taxes, it was assessed at 165, their taxes were 7,300. So another thing too is to really know your area, because when I had people writing offers, every single person, I was like, did you run with the taxes? Cause I'm seeing pre-approvals, they're like, yeah, here's 200, but the estimated tax are 4,500. No, that's gonna skew it, so really knowing what you're in and being transparent, I've told people that, and they're like, oh my god, I need to rerun my offer, we can't afford that. Right, and I was actually shocked how many people. And the other thing that I was shocked about, and I think it's probably because it's spring market, I have never had as many people call me on my listing, ask me, what do you think it's gonna sell for? What did your comp show? It was so weird to me.
They asked you what your comp showed?
I'm telling you, probably 5 agents called me and asked me what my comp showed, because they had no clue.
And they hadn't done comps themselves?
They did, but they did past 90 days. So they're like, oh, this is gonna sell for like 180, I'm like, okay, if you look at comps and past 90 days, yeah, it's 180, but if you look at comps during last spring, we're in the 2s.
Okay.
So they were so confused, like, I don't know why, it's spring market, I feel like puts people in a frenzy because it shifts drastically. Like, I just got, like I said, last night, 2 nights ago, I got an offer accepted with the sale and transfer title contingency. Probably not gonna see that again until like November, December. It's not gonna happen. So also, when we're getting to the spring, I don't know if you guys, I organize my buyers, I have buyers that are like, immediate, next 0 to 3 months, 6 to 9 months, and a year out. And I have them all organized. So what I do, especially if we're getting to the spring market, I have people that are kind of a little bit further out, rework their pre-approvals, just to make sure that everything's up to date. I know interest rates are gonna stay the same, but make sure that if they're expiring, to get that done soon, just so they can really know what their purchase power is, so you're not scrambling. I also tell all my buyers, look, we are getting into the spring market. I say it in a way that it's not meant to scare them, so they're not like, oh my gosh, we're not even gonna look anymore. But if you have buyers that are used to December, January, where you're getting maybe 5 offers against you, they're gonna need to buckle up. Because it's. Some people write on my listing, they're trying to write an S price or below. I'm like, this is not the time to be doing that anymore. There's pockets, sure. But not all the time. As for sellers, back to my listing in Unanda, I listed at 149.9. So there was another listing, it was a redone raised ranch, they was at 205, which is not I do not like that list price, and I would never suggest a list price at 205. Always, I would be under that 200 threshold at 199.9. Because I have some buyers that could go up to 250 and their search is set at 200 or under. So 205, not really a good listing strategy. They listed at the same time as me and I was like, great, they're nicer raised ranch, people are gonna go there. I was wrong. My fixer upper that smelled like shit got more offers and sold for more than the all done raised ranch. They got around the same, similar price to us. And they only had about 10 showings, or 40. So it's crazy to think about, wow, that house, your exact same square footage, bedrooms, all that, the house that needed the more work sold for more. That doesn't really make sense, right? But it goes back to a mindset of the buyers. They're like, well, this one's at 149, so I'm gonna go there, I'm not gonna go to the one at 205. So it's also prepping your sellers that yes, you may be listing on the quote unquote lower end, but it's a psychological strategy that you need to use in order to get the traction and get people in, especially during the spring market. Because we're gonna see more homes on the market, that means more competition for your sellers. But there's also gonna be more buyers too. Because typically in the winter, you would list something in Fairport, it's like the only freaking thing in Fairport, right? Now, there's gonna be multiple listings in areas because people are getting ready to sell. But there's also gonna be a lot more buyers because people are getting ready to buy. So listing strategy in that aspect too. I don't know about you guys, but if I have a listing coming up, I don't ever establish a list price until the night before I go live. I go live first thing in the morning, and the reason why I do that is because I want to wait to see if there's any other similar properties. Because if there is, and they list at 199, I'm just gonna list at 189.9. It's a $10,000 drop, and you think it wouldn't make that much of a difference, but it makes an exponential difference in a buyer's mindset. It's like, oh, these are the same thing, I'm just gonna go to the cheaper one. I had an instance last spring. I had a client looking at a house in Gates. They were literally almost on like a T, identical ranches and gates, identical. We went in and she's like, they're the same, I'll take either, they're the exact same square footage, bed, bath, all that. One was listed at 134, one was listed at 175. Putting the exact same offer up to 200 cash on both. The one listed at 134 sold in the mid 200s. Okay, the one listed at 175, we won at 190. I could not believe it. He's like, yeah, we only got 3 offers, it's yours. The one that was listed at 134, that's identical in everything, got 20 something offers because of the listing strategy. So also use that for both buyers and sellers. Think about that too. Because if you're looking at identical houses and one's maybe more expensive, take them to it. Because all the other buyers are gonna be like, oh, this one's cheaper, but it's not.
And do you think they're kind of scared away from the higher price?
Yes.
Okay, they're not, if it,
Yeah.
if it goes $100,
One.
they can't get it.
100%, because they're in the mindset, okay, well, if this one was 100 over, I'll be good, but if this one was 100 over, I'm not even gonna be close, so I'm not even gonna try. And I even saw it when I was scheduling my showings, that the 134 had way more showings than the 175. I was surprised, and she could not believe it, she's like, what are you telling, I found out we didn't get the 134 one first. We got blown out of the water, they're like, yeah, right, we're 200 cash, they're like, girl, you're not even gonna flow though. I was like, great, we're done, we're not getting this 175. When he called me back, I was like, yeah, it's yours, 190, even lower than we thought. We're great, right? I was like. When I'm telling you identical, it was insane how identical. It's not even like the mechanics were off in years or anything that would really skew that. But again, it just shows you that And if you would run comps on that, that's what I'm trying to say, if you went back in time and ran comps on that, you'd be like, what the heck happened here? Cause they're gonna come up on the same comp search. So. Take that with what you will, but that is seriously so crazy to me, I still can't believe that happened. We lucked out, of course, but on seller side, seller, once they saw their neighbor's house closed, they probably were like, what did we do wrong? And I have some people, like, this one house that I was telling you to get out of, when I said I wanted to list at 149.9, they're like, oh, that's low, I would like 180. Can we just list at 180? I was like, I absolutely had that conversation with them, you can list where you're comfortable with, but this is what's gonna happen if we price it accordingly. And when I went over offers with him last night, he's like, so glad I listened to you. Because if we listed at 180, I'm telling you right now, we would not have 10 offers. Well, for sure, because there's offers below 180, but you know what I'm saying. So that's something that's really, really huge. And don't be afraid to call agents. What I've done is I've called agents, like if I have a client looking for something, say I had a client looking for my listing in none of it, it's the Razor Ranch. Call the agent, be like, look, I have a buyer that's interested in something like this. I know you already sold. Can you give me any inside scoop as to what it sold for, how many offers you got, that sort of thing? Because if you guys were to call me, I will tell you everything I just did. Look, we got 10 offers. I had 4 people. We should have had 14 offers, but I had 4 people that are like, don't even try. And we sold north of 200. Just so they know, and you can prepare your buyers going into this market. And not in a scary way, just in an educational way, so they know what they're getting into. And here's the thing, it's not always the case where it's gonna be an insane video where there's gonna be some people that are gonna list it right where it's assessed at. Or right where it's appraised at, or anything like that, and they're gonna list too high, and you're gonna be able to get a good opportunity, so it's not all the time, but those little hidden gems just are not as common. Okay. Thank you. Any questions on that, what I said so far, are you guys up? You with me? How are you guys feeling going into this market? Are you nervous at all? Or are you ready to go?
I wasn't nervous, but I
No,
I was thinking spring market, lots more comes on the market. My buyers are gonna find some. My mindset has changed a little bit now. It's, okay, maybe it'll come on the market, but we still have a lot of competition.
Yeah.
And we still need to go way over as.
But also being transparent as possible with the listing agent too. Like, I had some people call me and be like, look, I got a cash offer, is 160 gonna do it? They didn't have to call me, they could have just submitted it and have their buyers wait for hours, biting their nails, seeing if they're gonna get it. Also having that transparency too, because that, there was no shot you could take that. And I'd rather tell them, look, don't waste your time. I will keep you posted what it sells for, so I still sent them a breakdown of an idea of what it sells for, which I always do on my listings. But I don't want your buyers waiting. And if there's somebody else that comes on the market, I want them to be able to go look at that too. But also, with this being said, business is gonna ramp up, and one of the biggest things is to also protect your time. Like last year, I caught myself being like, oh, well, it's Sunday, I'll just do one showing, or I'll just do one thing. Then all of a sudden, you think about it, you're like, wow, it's been like 40 days and I haven't had a full day to myself. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to pick a day and a night during the week where you don't schedule literally anything. And it's okay to tell your people no. They definitely have another available time to go see the house on Sunday at 5 p.m. But protecting our time is huge, because we're also, after the spring, it's summer, and summer's still crazy. So you wanna make sure that you are mentally not worn out by then. It's so easy, and I caught myself doing that last summer where I was like, yeah, I'll be there, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, and then I'm like, wow, I don't remember the last time I did something for myself. And then I was like exhausted, and people needed things from me, and I just wanted to turn my phone off and do them, because I was like, I'm so over this. So, protect your time. My time is, I don't do anything on Sundays. No matter what, Sundays are, unless it's like, okay, we have offers due on Monday, I know they're gonna get the house. Very, very slim instances will I ever do anything on Sunday. Very, Sunday's typically home. Saturday I'll pack it, I don't care. I'll pack everything on Saturday, I'll work a 12-hour shift Saturday, but don't do anything on Sunday. Even if it's just one little measly showing, we still have to get up and do something. Like work-wise. Then, Wednesday nights, I try not to do anything Wednesday nights. That's, we're having dinner at home, hanging out, watching a movie. not doing anything. So. Another thing, I don't know if you guys do this, when I have offers due, I don't have them due on Monday. A lot of people do, can't stand that. Because one, your Mondays are already really busy, so when you're like having offers due, you're writing offers, it's very overwhelming. Tuesdays are my thing, I like having offers due on Tuesdays. Mondays are tough. So, because it's also like, okay, now you're gonna work on
It's not
Sunday.
thoughtful to the agent that has to write the offer.
Right, because you're not, what I just said, now you're working on Sunday, that's supposed to be your day off, right? Because you have offers due first thing Monday morning. I'm not even ready yet Monday morning, I haven't even had my coffee, and you're telling me I have an offer due? Geez, I can't get into this week with that, so that's another thing. But, any questions so far?
Are you still seeing an advantage of delayed negotiations?
Yes. I certainly am. It's actually funny, because so I don't know why this has been happening to me, but I've been having deals go further and further away from me. Like I'm listing coming up in Lockport. I just did my first deal in Orleans County, I've done Batavia. It's funny because you're seeing delayed negotiations start trickling over there, which they've never been. But I definitely see a benefit in delayed. I will tell you, for example, I'm listing my aunt and uncle's house next Tuesday. I'm telling them, I'm like, get a hotel. I'm preparing them, I'm like, look, we're gonna price this accordingly. I think you're gonna be slammed. Get a hotel, board your animals, have someone watch them do something, but get out of the house. Because it is not, to be owner occupied, it is so stressful. Like I had 19 showings for my 4 clients, and the wife is handicapped on a Saturday. 19 showings starting from 8:50 until 7:30 at night. We had no breaks in between. And that's a lot for someone.
You are the one who creates the schedule, or they are. So-
Yeah, well, they got out of the house, but if they were staying at their house,
It
imagine
would be a
how,
long time for them to be out there.
a long time. And tell them that, look, we might get a lot of showings, tell them to be prepared for that, and lock away their stuff. So no one goes through their stuff. I actually also had someone, carpet smell, obviously, but, you walk up the stairs and in the main hallway, they ripped and cut out a piece of the carpet, they ripped it up in the corner, cut out a chunk about this big of the carpet.
Who did?
A buyer's even. Cut out a chunk of their carpet in their
Did you
main
narrow
hallway.
it down to who it was?
I couldn't figure it out. I was so pissed. I was gonna be that agent that goes on Rock Realtors.
Why
and
would
lets
they do
people buy.
that?
They wanna see if there's hardwoods underneath. But here's the thing, if you actually knew more about raised ranches in this time of age, they didn't use hardwoods as subfloors as commonly in this time that it was built. Also, if you looked in the basement where carpet was already ripped up from their cat pissing, you can see that there's no hardwoods underneath there, so why would it be upstairs?
Are you seeing like 5 days too?
Yeah, so I personally like listing, my favorite days to list are Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mhm.
So I list Tuesdays or Thursdays, and I typically have the offers due the next Tuesday. Now, that gives people enough time to either go to an open house if you have an open house, or find a time to get in. With open houses, I don't know if you guys have hosted anything recently. I have, I hosted one recently, there's a lot of looky-loos. I will tell you, there's a lot of looky-loos, there is, a lot of buyers who feel like they're running their agents everywhere, so they just go to the open house. The first hour of my one open house, I'm like, I'm literally just doing work for everyone else, this is ridiculous. Then I had someone come in, they are a $500,000 cash buyer, and they also have a $350,000 house to sell. And I signed them, we're all good to go, we're working with them. But open houses are coming back. They said, we just started, we saw this house, we drove by and
Yeah.
whatever.
But with that, if you have someone who has an agent,
Mhm.
you're still doing work for them? I
No,
mean,
No.
No, you said I'm doing a lot of work for.
oh, other agents, because a lot of people that come to my open house are already open.
They're asking questions.
Yeah, they're asking
And
questions.
how do you respond to them?
So I answer it as if I represent the seller. Because I do. If you're hosting an open house technically, on my team, you would represent the seller. That's how it kind of works. So they ask me a question, I'll answer it. right?
Okay,
But
so you're not giving the person coming to the open house information that they should be getting from their.
no,
agent.
no, I mean, if they ask me questions like where the lot lines are, I'll answer that, of course. But I'm not going above and beyond. But for my first hour when I was there, I'm like, oh my God, everyone's represented right now. All these, it was ridiculous. And then I had this neighbor that almost fell down the stairs. I was like, oh my God, I need to get out of here, I'm a babysitter today. But then you have that one person that comes in. My first deal ever was from an open house lead, actually, from last spring market, no, 2 spring markets ago. And it was a $500,000 buyer. They own Adelitas in, yeah, they own Adelitas. And they referred me their sister, who was a $335,000 buyer, and a coworker who was a $225,000 buyer. Just from an open house.
Yeah.
So open houses are still where it's at. Work it at an open house, because I could just say that open house and be like, oh my God, I'm just doing work for other people, not doing anything, see people sign in, whatever, they're not gonna use me. But these people came in, they didn't have an agent, I was on my game, and they signed me right away, we set scheduled an appointment, I wrote an
I
offer.
take my buyer's guide
Yeah,
to open houses,
yeah,
so if they don't have an agent,
yeah.
I say to them, if you have a minute, you
Mhm.
know, take a look at my buyer's guide, we can talk about it, we can set up an appointment.
Now, I will tell you with open houses too, what I've been seeing is, again, they're getting slammed in the spring. I've actually done open houses with my team members or other people where we have 2 people at open houses. One on one level, one on the other. Just because of how packed they are. I was doing an open house on this 900 square foot Cape Cod in Greece last spring. Just me there. It was a traffic jam. I think I had 36 families come through that actually signed it. That's not with people that didn't sign it. I was literally directing traffic. I could barely have conversations with people because how busy it was. I needed another person there. So also know what you're getting into too, and team up with someone. And if you have unrepresented leads, split them. But I do think open houses are gonna be a lot more busy during this time of year. Yes, you will feel like it's just people that have agents, but it takes that one open house, like, I'm like, okay, 2 hours of my time. And I got these buyers. Which is a lot of business for those 2 hours that I would never have had if I didn't do that beforehand. So I do think that that's gonna be very common. And some people don't know where to start. They have no idea what to start, what to do. They wanna look, because a lot of people like looking in the spring and summertime. And they wanna look for a house, they don't know where to start, so they just go to an open and just see what's out there. Where you're gonna intercept them. And my clients from Adelitas, they've told me they've been going to open houses for months. They didn't have an agent, no one signed them, no nothing. I'm like, perfect. I just actually went to dinner with my girlfriends the other night there, and they were serving us, they came over and they were serving us all these crazy drinks and stuff, and on that, it was awesome, but I would never have had that if I didn't host that one open house. So I do think open houses are gonna be way more common now. And on the flip side of things, that could also relieve your seller as well for getting out of the house and being slammed if you have an open house. Because a lot of people with agents are like, oh, just go to the open, don't worry about it, right? And people will write offers based on that. So I do think that's gonna help your sellers a lot. Cause I didn't do an open house on mine just because they were really stressed out people coming in and out of their house. So I had that conversation with them up front. But for most people, I think they would be like, yeah, do an open, do your thing. But with that being said, I don't ever close my own open houses when I do open houses. I really hate dual agency. I don't think you could ever represent 2 people equally. Like, I feel very uncomfortable doing that. I feel like someone's gonna get mad at me because they're gonna go to the final walk, we're gonna be like, we need a $5,000 credit, and I'm gonna tell my sellers, hey, they want a $5,000 credit, and they're gonna be like, no, Jordan, you know we won't do that, F you. So then I go back to them, oh, they're not gonna do that, and they're gonna be like, oh, well, you're just going for the sellers. So I don't want dual agency, so I never post my open houses. Hate it.
I'll host them.
Perfect. Perfect, do it up. Have you guys hosted any recently? Open houses?
Yes.
You have? Yeah. Was it packed?
It was packed, but
Hey.
everybody had
Yeah.
an agent.
How you doing?
Did you feel like you wasted your time?
Yes and no, yes and no. you know, I love doing them for the, to meet people,
Mhm,
to make sure that, I know
mhm.
what people, look, you know, just a lot of educational stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
So, I think that's really all I had about spring market, is just making sure everyone's up to date with their pre-approvals, using comps from last spring, not 90 days, prepping your sellers for what is gonna happen. And also letting the buyers know that might be a competitive time, but you might be able to get a good opportunity. So keep your head up, keep working, but it's probably gonna be a little bit more different than December. And that's just from what I've experienced. Some people randomly will get offers accepted with all these sorts of things on them, but that reminded me. Adding something to your offer to make it more appealing to the seller does wonders. I don't know if anyone wants my tips and tricks on offers class, but this one gets me every time. If I'm writing an offer on your listing, other term section is gonna be jam-packed full, sometimes so full, I say see continuation addendum, and I have to go to a continuation addendum and jam it full. So I do things, and I've had people tell me, Jordan, you're the only person, only offer that ever did this, and that's why I wanna work with you, even though you're less. So I got an offer accepted, we were third place, it was a race ranch in Ontario on Thursday. We went up to 225 cash guarantee. We went to the house and we're like, wow, we have a ton of junk here. Whole backyard was full of crap. Quarters, house was full, fish tanks everywhere, really weird situation. Also, they were messy people, very messy. So we put an offer up to 225, we came in third. There was an offer up to 240 and 250. But we told them, look, you can leave any personal property in the home at the time of buyer's possession, except trash, put that in there, because that burned me one time. People left baby diapers all over the place. And they said, well, that's personal property. I said, how? Except trash. And then I also will put in there, the property does not have to be in broom swept condition at the time of buyer's possession. Reason being is because odds are your buyer's gonna clean it anyways. So that's what I do, every time I do clean it. And also, for the sellers, that's a big ease of mind that they just get up and move. And for buyers, it will take some probably blood, sweat and tears to fill up a $500 dumpster and get everything out. But they actually chose our offer. They didn't counter us any higher. They just chose our offer at 225 because we were the easiest and we were the cleanest. And we offered, if they needed post possession, that they can have up to a week of post possession for free. They even didn't tell me they needed it, but I put that in there. And they only used 2 days of it. And so they left $25,000 on the table because of ease. So that's definitely something to put in there.
You said that, the buyers offered to pay a full 6% for the listing.
Yes, the full
Have you seen
6%.
that?
Never seen that
Multiple
before.
times? I've never seen that.
Yeah, so I literally was running numbers with Susan at like 8 o'clock last night. Because I was trying to figure out how that would work and what my sellers were gonna net the most. I've never seen anyone do that. Ask to offer to pay the full 6% commissions, still didn't do too crazy much. Originally it did, but the other offer just went insane. Hadn't seen that. But that was an interesting tactic, and when I was talking to the agent, I asked him why. Because, I mean, everyone else is just off doing the standard 3%. And he said, I win every offer this way. So really, tell me more about that, because I was like really trying to pick at that, because I'm like, okay, your clients are gonna have to pay an extra 13 grand for this house. And his clients, they have a lot of liquid cash, and when people see that, they're like, wow, they're serious. And he's had his offer chosen, for example, he was not the highest offer at first, he was tied for like 4th. But when you think about not having the commissions, that just automatically bumps them up. Took a lot of math for me to do, which is not my like forte. Like I said, when I'm telling you, I was writing so much stuff down with Susan to figure out how will this make work, and also how can I bounce off of an escalation? Because if he's second and bouncing it off of that, like, okay, well, if he's at 205 and I have someone that's gonna beat any offer up to 230, so they get 206, but not really, because they're saving my clients $12,000 and change, so it was just really funky to work out with that. So look for that. Because some people are gonna get funky with that, they're gonna try to do all sorts of ways. I actually had a painter write an offer on a listing, and they said that he would offer to paint their entire next house if we took their offer.
I'm gonna pay their what?
Paint their entire house.
Oh, paint their.
Oh, and I had someone offer to pay their, new mortgage or the new rent in the next house. People are getting really creative out there.
For, like, for a month or?
Yeah, for a month. But you also won't believe how many agents wrote on my offer, or this house, and did not call me or talk to me. And my clients needed post-possession, like there was no ifs, ands, or buts, they needed post-possession.
That I've done before where you do post-possession free.
Yeah.
Without charging them anything.
Well, that's how you knew who didn't call me though. It was in the listing, I said post-possession, and, they didn't call me, they just submitted an offer that I've never talked to them, I don't even know who they are, who they're by, I knew nothing. And so when I have other people calling me, being like, look, what can we do to improve our offer? We have a great communication skills, I call those people back, I'm like, okay. I'm gonna assume that you wanna bump your offer, and I'm gonna assume the people that I didn't talk to, that's their highest and best, right? So I matched what they gave me. They weren't even close enough.
If you do post-possession
Mhm.
free, do you put in a,
Security deposit?
security deposit?
Yeah. Well, this guy didn't on my listing, I wasn't gonna tell him that, but I would always put in $1,000 security deposit at least. On post possession. I seen post possession getting messy, you have to have a security deposit in there.
I've had buyers want the homeowners to raise their, homeowners insurance to a certain coverage.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a minimal amount per month.
Yeah.
It was a big deal, but it was kind of picky.
Very picky. I've actually had people for post possession, I had a long post possession, which I've never done, it was like a 2.5 week. Post possession, and I actually had them put a rental rider on their, insurance, it's only like $7 a month. Because technically it is a landlord tenant situation, so I had them put a rental rider on their insurance. And that helped. But I do think that you're gonna start seeing on your listings and competing against buyers, people are gonna be filling up that other term section with who knows what to get their offer accepted. So, yeah, that was really cheap. So come prepared. And this one agent, I ended up choosing his offer after all that, he was like, oh, I thought you would counter me. And I'm like, I would never counter a second off, like, that's so weird, like, I call for highest and best at time of delayed negotiations, I've never, it's not like I'm gonna call everyone back and be like, okay, so can you do any better now? And then have that all over again. So that was really interesting to me, for him to think that I would just counter him.
What do you mean by security deposit for,
Post possession.
yeah,
So when you have post possession, basically they close, the sellers stay in the home, but it's in the buyer's name.
yeah.
So we have the sellers submit a security deposit of a certain amount, basically like you would as a good faith deposit on the house.
Mhm.
To be like, look, here's this, we're gonna make sure everything's cleaned out and nice and in the same condition as it was beforehand. And then at the end of it, they get it back,
Okay,
just like when you're renting.
I've seen, only one time,
Yeah,
I've seen on a listing that the seller is willing to pay, home
warranty.
warranty. Have you seen that?
I've done that.
You've done that,
Yes.
okay, explain that.
I don't like this, but, I've done it before. So basically, I mean, when you have a listing, we are like affiliated with America's Preferred Home Warranty. So you can actually offer home warranty to a buyer. So it's $500 for a year and you pay for it and you're actually covered your entire listing process or period. So if you're on the market for 3 months, you're covered with that home warranty the entire time. The day you close, that day the buyer is covered for a year after that date. So I don't really like doing that, because I don't think that it entices a buyer to necessarily buy a house, because it's gonna sell anyways. I'm not gonna like pick out something like, well, it's a $500 warranty, I want that one. I don't see it do anything. I've actually only had this happen once where I had someone use it and actually need to use it. It was, really crazy. It was a home built in 2017. We listed with, home warranty provided. And right before the final walkthrough, her dishwasher shit about it. You know, whole new dishwasher. She actually got it replaced for like $100 deductible, and she was really excited about that. But it's not common.
Why did you do it then?
She wanted to, because I presented it to them.
As an option?
And they're like, oh, well, yeah, let's do it. And I explained it to them that, no, with our luck, something's gonna happen if we don't get it, so let's just get it, we have the worst luck possible, I just wanna get this closed.
And, do you find that it provided you with, buyers or offers that didn't ask for an inspection?
Home inspection, I mean, no one did on that one, so maybe, but I had some people call me like, what the hell is this? Cause we had like a little sign and brochure, and they're like, I have no idea. Had, like, Howard Cama has one. I don't know if you guys seen Howard Cama's home warranty, this home was covered with da-da-da from Howard Cama. I just looked right past that, I don't care about that, I'm like, okay. I had no idea what it is or what it does, it's very foreign, like, we know it because we have to sign the form all the time. That sort of thing, so we know what's in there, but for other brokerages, they have no idea, so. I typically have only seen it where my buyers want to buy it when they buy their personal home, not my sellers. So, good question. Any other questions? No?
Thank you.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
On a side note, are you guys staying for the showing etiquette class?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm gonna tell you all that happened at my thing. There's so much more I didn't talk to you guys about, but.
Are
I'll
you
say-
doing?
No, I'm just gonna chat. I'm so pissed about what happened.
Yeah.
The entire time, it was disgusting.
I've seen it on, Brockfield.
Yeah, that was almost me, but I didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I literally probably have like 10 things that happened during this whole, really sad. Check on your vacant listings, make sure they're good. I also actually check on my vacant listings every week, or every other week, just to make sure like a pipe didn't burst or something. Cause that would be like the worst thing, you don't check on it, and then a pipe bursts, and then you're like, oh, it's been wet in here for 3 weeks, and we're closing, that'd be horrible.
I would hope that another agent would let you know if
I
they were
know.
in there showing.
Yeah, but what if it's after it closed, right before the final walkthrough, right? We had that happen, listing on Gannett, right down the road. This was before I implemented this. We got an offer accepted, right before the final walkthrough, I went there to just, pick up listing stuff. Basically was flooded, their dehumidifier stopped working, or stopped draining into the sump pump. And it just kept filling up and leaking and filling up and leaking, it was soggy mess down there.
Carpeted.
Yep, of course it was.
So what happened? Did they give a credit back to the buyers?
Yeah, we had it cleaned out and it was this whole big thing, but yeah, I was like, okay. Checking on vacant listings when we are under contract or have someone of their family too.
I had an offer that, we got to go through and the electricity had been shut off and
Ooh,
it was like in those 10-degree days.
Yeah.
So they shut off, and at the final walkthrough, we shut off the water because we weren't.
yeah, I would have.
And, then when they turned the water back on, the pipes started, the faucets started leaking. And we're having a little bit of a battle trying to get the seller to, pay for the repairs, because the repairs now, they're saying, the plumber is saying, any repairs on this house, because it's older, any repairs on this house, because it's older, we've got to bring it up to code. So these 3 particular faucets that are leaking, and I mean like the turn on
Yeah.
faucet down in the basement for the water
Mhm.
and under the sink in the kitchen, we have to bring up the plumbing up to code. So,
Well, and to put your utilities back on, it's like $500 fee.
and it didn't have, I mean, that didn't happen for some reason, I don't know why. But the seller was quite old and she must not have been.
Yeah, but that should not be other buyers though.
No, but we're holding them responsible.
100%. So how held up are you?
Well, he's moved in and whatnot, but, we're waiting for the plumber. To find a plumber that's not gonna charge $2,000, because they won't pay $2,000 to fix these 3 faucets, these 3 valves, or whatever you wanna call
Why would they think that it was okay to shut off the electric?
She's old.
she didn't, she said she didn't. The electric company said she did, and there was no proof.
Do you want to know something crazy? I wrote an offer on a property that's been on the market for 63 days, and I always call them and ask if they're offering, prior worker compensation. And this one I did it, because this agent was a pain in my ass to get hold of. So I wrote an offer, and she called me and she was like, the seller thinks that you should have to pay, your client should have to pay you as their buyer's agent, so she's only offering you. I said, oh, no, that's not how it works. And I said, if you think about it, really, you would never have a deal without my buyers, because, well, it's been on the market 63 days, and the buyers are giving you the funds, so technically, the buyer is paying them, essentially, it's just going to the sellers on that account. And she's like, wow, that was a lot. So I'm like,
That was
So that's very low line.
yeah, it was like, oh, well, it is what it is. So I said, how about this? We're gonna ask for 2% seller concessions, and they're gonna pay my 1% commission based on the gross. So I'm still getting my 3%. She goes, okay.
It's gotta be smarter than that.
Yep.
It's not hard.
Did you believe that? I'm like, that's the same thing. But she said, okay, I'm getting my 3%. People are crazy. People are crazy. I've never heard that before. She's like, now the seller doesn't think that you deserve to hold it.
The way she worded it.
Yeah, that tells me that's good for.
Right.
You know, really.
Could you have gone back and said, okay, well, then we changed our offer, we're offering the term less.
Well, that's why I offered the concession, but made sure that my compensation was paid on gross, not net. The concessions would make my 1% lower. So I said, okay, well, we'll do this. And she goes,